right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of ATOWN Rundown. It's Tuesday for us. It is Thursday for you guys. And we're going to jump into some things. There's some news going around the Atlanta Falcons, as always. Just because football playing season is over does not by any means mean that football news is over. We recently franchise tagged Kyle Pitts, and there's some confusion. There's some things going around about what his specific franchise tag means, what this means going forward for the Atlanta Falcons. So honestly, for a casual football fan, I think the word franchise tag gets confusing, gets misconstrued a lot because you hear the words franchise and you think, oh, that's our franchise guy. He's not going anywhere. Well, that's not necessarily what a franchise tag actually fucking means. So to further explain that, I asked Jeremy earlier today if he would go into better depth, better detail of what a franchise tag actually means and what Kyle Pitt's specific franchise tag means. So that's what we're going to do right now. So Jeremy, what when you hear the words franchise tag, what should that mean in your head? What does it actually mean? And also, you were just explaining to me that with Kyle Pitts, there's a certain stipulation. He has a very specific franchise tag. So what does this mean for Kyle Pitts in particular as well?
Right. So franchise tag, basically player has finished his contract and you have the opportunity to basically stop him from going to another team, or at least for a little while. So you've got two different ones. You've got the non-exclusive tag, which is Kyle Pitts. This is normally what you get. Players allowed to negotiate with other teams and has the right, and the original team has the right to match any offer.
Okay.
If they don't match the offer, then the team receives two first-round compensatory picks. The exclusive tag stops them from talking with any other team, but the salary is guaranteed at 120% of the player's previous year's salary. So basically what we're doing is we put a $16 million franchise tag on Kyle. We've got till, I think, July 16th to negotiate a long-term contract. Otherwise, he gets to go, or I think he gets to go and basically play the market, figure out what his deal could be with other teams, and the Falcons have the opportunity to match that.
Okay. Now, if they don't match that, or if they say, hey, we can't match that, go elsewhere, that's when the picks come into play?
I think that's when the picks come into play, yes.
Okay.
So, but this is the most common. Like, you have to spend a lot more money to do the exclusive tag, and you got to really want that guy. And I think with Kyle Pitts, I think the smart thing is just not letting him walk.
But also, in a way, this is kind of beneficial to the player as well, because this lets the player go out into the market, see who wants them, see who's their worth. Because worst case scenario for a player, you become a free agent, and then it turns out nobody wants you and nobody's going to pay you what the Falcons are already paying you. So you could go out there and see what's available. Turns out nothing's available. Turns out the most another team is going to pay you is $12 million. So then you're like, all right, Falcons, I guess I'll just stay here, because that's an option as well, correct?
And then you negotiate something like, let's say he gets offered $12 million from somebody, and he comes back and they're like, well, you know what? We're not even going to bother with that. Let's start at $16 million. That's the tag you put on me, and then negotiate your contract from there, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, kind of based around $16 million a year. So I can see something like that happening. I think it's smart to franchise tag him. Then he's under contract. You can still trade him in later years and stuff like that. You let him walk for nothing. It's like, okay, then you just spent this top draft capital,
right,
to get him, and then walked. You got nothing.
I feel like that's kind of the situation that's going on in Dallas, because there's news coming out that they're trying to franchise tag Pickens, because before today I heard Pickens, he might be going to the Steelers. He might be trying to come to Atlanta, as Atlanta is always a hypothetical landing point for every single player in the entire NFL. It just is, always has been, always will be. Very rarely works out in our favor, but we are always in the discussion. But I feel like the reason they're so adamant about franchise tagging Pickens is because they saw what happened with Micah Parsons, where they let Micah Parsons walk instead of being able to hold on to him. But then at the same time, you got to think now they're going to pay Pickens the franchise tag as well as paying CeeDee Lamb what they got to pay CeeDee Lamb. And you got to think too, like right now, Dak Prescott's probably and arguably the prime of his career. So he does need both of those guys to depend on. And you can say what you want to about the Dallas Cowboys. We both know neither one of us are Dallas Cowboys fans by any stretch of the imagination. But George Pickens is no scrub, and he's not someone he's not someone you want walking away from your team.
I would love to see him here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like Dallas is making a very smart move if they do franchise tag Pickens. But going back to this Pitts thing, it's been a topic of discussion for us. his performance here and everything like that. And I feel like sometimes I've been a little unfair with Kyle Pitts because I do feel like if he did have a all-star caliber quarterback throwing him the ball, we might see better production out of him. We might see the player we were promised to see. But it's starting to get to the point with me where I don't know if in the Atlanta Falcons organization are we going to get an opportunity to see Kyle Pitts play with that style of quarterback? Because even this franchise tag is a 1-year deal. What if after this he's just like, fuck it, I'm done with the Falcons, and he does walk,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that it all comes down to how Penix is going to play. Like, is he going to progress? Because I did see something about, and if you remember, Kyle Pitts was kind of having a shitty season until Kirk Cousins took over.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is because, Kyle Pitts is playing inside the numbers, and Michael Penix was never throwing inside the numbers. If you remember, it was Drake London and nobody else.
Right.
And so unless Kyle Pitts is lined up out wide, which usually he's not, he wasn't really even getting targeted. So you bring in Kirk Cousins, who's kind of distributing a lot more all over the field, and all of a sudden Kyle Pitts starts having these monster games like he did against Tampa Bay. So
but it's always Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the only Tampa Bay.
Kyle Pitts loves playing them. Yeah.
It's the only time I ever see Kyle Pitts perform the way we were promised he was going to perform is when they're playing Tampa Bay. It doesn't matter. You can play the Jets. You can play any other team. But when he plays Tampa Bay, for some reason, he just fucking shines, and I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I'll argue that, his rookie season, he was great the whole season with Matt Ryan.
He was great.
But that's with Matt Ryan. Yeah.
But it was also a 1 touchdown season, which
it was.
I understand it was 1,000-yard season,
weird.
And I get that. I get that. Trust me, I get that. I understand it was 1,000-yard season. I get it. But my thing is, like, when I'm told this guy's a unicorn where he's going to be the best tight end Atlanta's ever had, aside from Tony Gonzalez, I expect 1,000 yards and maybe 10 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, shit, more than one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Give me, 6 to 8 touchdowns.
But are you on that train too? Like, do you think that he's just had shitty luck with the quarterbacks we've been giving him, or are we seeing what we get from Kyle Pitts? Like, is this just who he is as a player?
I think the quarterback play has a lot to do with it because, like I said, if you just look at the splits of when he was playing with Michael Penix versus when he was playing with Kirk Cousins, it's a big difference.
Right,
it's a huge difference. In fact, like, I'd argue that Kirk Cousins kind of saved Kyle Pitts' value here when he took over. Also, I know we both kind of talked about like his inability to block in the run game, or sometimes like his non-commitment to it. But the dude, I mean, like when Drake London went down last year, it was like he became our wide receiver 1.
Yeah,
and he showed out. So I think it's kind of situational with him. I'd like to see him get better with the run blocking stuff, but I'd like to see a little more focus on whoever the quarterback is to be throwing around all over the field. Because, if you have Drake London, at least one other good receiver to replace Darnell Mooney, who I think we should cut, and then you also have Kyle Pitts out there, it's like, okay, and you have Bijan Robinson, who's a threat out of the backfield, in the pass game, like, okay, now you've got weapons.
Okay. But this is where we go back to. This is where we go back to. We go back to the pass game where I don't know if Penix is going to step up and fit into that role properly. Then we got to think about free agency, because if we got such a late pick, going into the second round, that's when we finally get to start picking. I don't think we go for a quarterback there. And unfortunately, with the free agents, with people we can't afford, are things of that nature, people who are also willing to come to Atlanta, who aren't tied with the team they're at, and people that we can afford. Because let's be honest, like, it'd be great to go after Mac Jones. Don't think we can afford him. I think, and you got to start thinking about the caliber of a quarterback we can afford. And unfortunately, it's guys of the caliber of Jacoby Brissett and things like that. Somebody who is going to stop the gap, but does that mean they're going to stop the bleeding? I don't necessarily think so. And it would be great to get somebody like Joe Flacco who can just come in and do his fucking job. But also, you got to think Joe Flacco's knocking on the edge of 50 years old. Does he want to come in and get banged up, for the Atlanta Falcons, for a team that may not be a playoff caliber team if we don't get everything?
I think Joe Flacco's like 41, but still, yes, he's one of the oldest players in the league.
Well, in my head, he's knocking on the head of 40. And in football, that's 50.
Yeah, for sure.
In football, that's 50, dog. But that's what I'm saying.
Well, we're right behind him. But
you got to think, you got to understand as a Falcons fan, you're not going to get an elite quarterback this season unless you deplete the rest of your fucking roster. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get somebody who can do the job, but I don't you got to get out of your head. We're not a Super Bowl contending team this season.
No.
I think that's something we need
Most
to go
likely
ahead
no.
and drill
Yeah.
into the head of Atlanta fans, because the reality is you're going to get somebody like Jacoby Brissett or Kyler Murray or Tua Tagovailoa, somebody of that nature. Well, actually, you can't get Tua, because I think in order to get Tua, there's like $99 million of dead cap space that you'd have to fucking pay or some
Yeah,
crazy shit like that.
that would be insane. Yeah,
But
we
that's
couldn't
what I'm
do that.
saying. You got to get an affordable quarterback. And right now, the affordable quarterbacks are not the guys who are going to give you fucking 10 wins in the win column. They're the guys who you might have around the same numbers as far as wins as you had last season, but they're gonna fill the gap. But I don't necessarily think that means they're gonna stop the bleeding, that they're gonna all of a sudden be a fucking second round playoff team.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, look, I think the goal is still win the division, and I think that's doable with this division. But it's interesting to think of what they could do with the quarterback, because it depends on what route they want to take. And I think, a couple of weeks ago, it was sounding like, Arthur Blank saying like, well, Michael is our franchise guy. And then now that we've now that we've filled out like the coaching staff and the general manager, and now Matt Ryan's here, I feel like the weather's changed on that a little bit, to where it's like, if Michael's your franchise guy and you just need a backup for him to get in and get healthy, it's like, then go for Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then have a real veteran behind him that can kind of show him the way and be there, and someone who can be reliable. Now, he throws a lot of interceptions and everything, but he throws for a lot of yards. And you're going to get out of him, and professionalism. But, I feel like some of the energy has changed more to like, they want someone to kind of compete at quarterback with Michael, which I like that idea. Everyone gets better when they think that someone's behind them to get their job. And it'll kind of force him to break away from some of these weaknesses that we've seen. Like, is he really able to play under center? Well, you're going to have to, if there's a guy behind you that we could use that would actually let us use our whole playbook. Can you throw inside the numbers?
Yeah.
We're about to spend some money on Kyle Pitts. Like, I got to know you're going to throw to him.
And in all honesty, when you put it that way, the best thing that could happen for Michael Penix would probably be getting a veteran like Joe Flacco to come in there and show him like, this is what you got to remember. These are who you got to play to. These are your strengths. These are your weaknesses. This is how you adapt to this. Because people forget, like, because of how long Joe Flacco's fucking career has been, people who are a generation younger than us don't even realize that Joe Flacco used to be the fucking man. Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco's been to the dance. Joe Flacco's been in all the Pro Bowls. He's been in the Super Bowl. He's won the Super Bowl.
AFC Championship
games. He may have actually been the Super Bowl MVP that year, if I'm not mistaken.
You might be right. Yeah.
Like, there was a time and place that Joe Flacco was the man. So if nothing else, Michael Penix could definitely fucking learn from him. And then you got to think too, they say Michael Penix is going to be healthy, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe it. I don't think he should be healthy by the time stamp that they're giving him to be healthy by. And you got to think, who do you want? You got to think preseason up until week 3, when we could possibly get him back. Who's going to fill the gap there? Obviously we're going to see as we get closer to preseason, but
I don't really have I don't have like a big hope that he's going to be starting week 1. I really don't.
No. I don't think he will. I'm looking at week 3, and I honestly think that if we get a veteran, like, and in all honesty, when we're talking about veterans, Jacoby Brissett, like, if we're talking about early days, Jacoby Brissett, he wasn't a scrub. He was good. He could get the job done. But ultimately, we need somebody that Michael Penix can learn from. And if we're going that route, I think they should absolutely target Joe Flacco. And on top of that,
Joe Flacco's affordable too.
He's affordable, and on top of that, now we have a head coach who has a relationship with Joe Flacco. So,
this is also with Jacoby Brissett. And if you remember, a couple weeks ago, we went down 13 different quarterbacks that have played under Stefanski since he's been a head coach.
That's true.
So there's a lot of guys out there that are familiar with Coach Stefanski. But also, I want to see how Michael grows under like a real offensive staff. Like some of the guys that Stefanski brought in, like Alex Van Pelt, is like the quarterback guru. So like maybe he can kind of really get some of these things out of Michael, like rather than having to have Joe Flacco do it, because Joe Flacco's not there to teach the young kid. He's there to be ready to play, Like I like the idea of
Absolutely.
like having a veteran on the like behind him or whatever. But yeah, I kind of want to see, because think about who Michael Penix was playing for. Like they didn't give him the reins. They gave him the reins out of nowhere in his first season under Raheem Morris and shitty ass Zach Robinson, who clearly didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Shouldn't have made
Yeah.
it to year 2, and then year 2 was a fucking mess. Like coming out in the pistol all the time. Like I don't know. I want to see what he's like under a real staff. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. The injury concerns is a huge concern.
That's my thing too. Is like I want to say we haven't seen the best of Penix, but I feel like, and this is a shitty thing to say, but you got to think of how many times he's already been injured in college. He's already been injured in the NFL. I think he's just one more injury away from being like, all right, we got to shelf this guy. Like we do. Like
Yeah, he
we,
could.
because it's not even injuries in general. It's the injuries he's getting. He's getting Achilles and ACL injuries, and when you're a quarterback, if you can't plant that foot, you can't count on that ball going where you want it to go, and
Right.
on top of that, as much as you want to say football can be a gentleman's sport, it's not. And that fucking defensive line knows who you are, knows your weaknesses, and they're going after you. You're one sack away from snapping your leg and being the next Joe Theismann,
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. And also, in other news, Kirk Cousins, they did confirm that he will be cut on March 11th.
Right.
That saves
Which
us
makes this
$67 million in guaranteed money, by the way.
Which makes this even more fun, more money to play with. But who are okay? So let's say this hypothetically. Hypothetically speaking, you can pull it up. You can Google the internet right now to see available free agent quarterbacks and who fits in the 60 to 65 million category that we could afford. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a whole hell of a lot of people.
Let's see. No, I mean, there's guys out there, but I don't think that they're going to go without knowing what's going to happen. Yeah, I mean,
you don't want to get a
guys are
one-year
going to
quarterback.
be
like you don't want to.
The top guys are going to be like Malik Willis. He's going to get a lot of money. Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles. No, can't afford him. And the Colts are going to do everything they can to get him back. Aaron Rodgers.
With the year that Daniel Jones had, like I hate that injury happened to him because, dude, the Colts last year, man, that was fucking amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was. The other guys you got, like, so those are kind of like the top guys. Joe Flacco, like real, I guess, starters. But then
Joe Flacco is staying active as an NFL quarterback, right? Like he is not.
Yeah. I think he plans on coming back.
Okay.
So then you've got the experienced backups category, which is Marcus Mariota.
Nope.
No.
Ooh.
Gardner Minshew.
Oh, okay. Here's the thing about Gardner Minshew. Here's the thing about Gardner Minshew is Gardner Minshew is one of those players. We can afford him, but he's much like Ryan Fitzpatrick, where you want to count him out, and then all of a sudden he'll just do this play where you're like, "What the fuck? He's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen," and then he'll lose 5 games in a row. So
yeah, and look, I think the Falcons' plan is to have a good backup and one that it'd be nice to have one that would be competing for the starting job. I don't think that we're going to get that this year.
But I think we're trending towards a 1-year contract deal with a stopgap.
Probably. Probably. Yeah. And I mean, look, if things go bad, you draft a quarterback next year. I think we stay away from quarterbacks in the draft. That's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I do not want a third, fourth rounder, whatever.
Who else do you got on the free agent list?
And then let's see. Also, after Gardner Minshew, we got Trey Lance. I've never really seen anything out of him. I mean, I know he got drafted high. He's with the Chargers now, or was with the Chargers. But he got drafted by like the 49ers or whatever. Then
he got drafted by the Niners. Yeah.
Then you got Kenny Pickett, who, all right. I mean, but he did some stuff with Pittsburgh a couple years ago.
Now, granted, we're talking shit because this is our job. All these guys are way better quarterbacks than I am. So,
of course, yeah, of course. And look, they get paid for it.
Yep.
Then Sam Howell. I don't know. I mean, too much developing shit you have to do with that. That seems like a straight wild card.
It's kind of a fucking Michael Penix situation. You're in the same boat.
Yeah. And then with a lot less talent. And then you've got Russell Wilson, which I think is a no-go. He had a very bad year.
Okay, he had a bad year, and the thing is, he had a bad year, but was he on a bad team? Like, because
I don't know. Jackson Dart took over, and all of a sudden they're beating the Eagles.
But Jackson Dart, there's just something about Jackson Dart that, like, I think Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo have more confidence than any NFL player duo I've ever seen in my entire life.
They do. They definitely do. That means something.
I think when he took over, he really just fucking changed the entire culture of the locker room because he just walks around with an air about himself. And my thing is like, Broncos Wilson wasn't really that great either. You did start to see the decline of Russell Wilson in Denver. So I will say in my head, he does kind of continue to trend downward. So yeah, we should stay away from Russell Wilson. We should.
Yeah. I'm not with Russell Wilson. I mean, like,
I think it would put asses in seats though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Okay, so
I don't know.
So now hypothetically though, let's say we can't. Let's say in a very unperfect world, we don't get a free agent quarterback and we don't draft one. Who is our current backup? Like who would fill the shoes for Penix?
Oh yeah, what is his name? Shit, he's got a stupid name. Let's see. I should know this, but thankfully we didn't have to see him at all.
Remember when we had Matt Redman?
Chris Redman.
Yep. Yeah.
Easton Stick. That's who we had.
Easton Stick.
We only saw him during the preseason, and it was not good. Where did Easton Stick play college?
I don't know. But have you seen that Kirk Cousins in his career has made $322 million and only ever won one playoff game?
Oh, yeah, dude. He's a pirate.
How do you do that?
He's a swindler.
Man? How do you do that? Like,
hey, and as much shit we want to talk about Kirk Cousins, he did have a winning record with the Falcons. Did you know that?
Yeah, he does.
12-10.
Dude, listen,
not great, but winning.
Listen, this is one of those things that I just want to put into perspective of how hard it is to be an NFL athlete. You can be Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a all-star level quarterback. When he's fully healthy, he's an elite level quarterback. And this is how competitive and this is how hard it is to play in the NFL. You have a quarterback the level of Kirk Cousins, and he's only got one playoff win in his career. You know, you've got legendary quarterbacks who have never even sniffed at the Super Bowl. Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, never won a ring. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Buffalo Bills, who went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row with Joe Kelly, didn't win a fucking ring. You know, like this is how hard it is to be an NFL athlete. Like it truly is. Yep. And that's what I know I've said this on the podcast before, but I'll say it again. Like there are only 32 teams in the NFL. So that means there are only 32 starting quarterback positions in the NFL. And if you're one of those guys, you are one of the best quarterbacks in the world. Straight up.
Yeah. Remember when we had Desmond Ridder?
Okay. Well,
I mean, come on. It's like sometimes it's like what your team sometimes it's what your team can afford. And I think we were taking a chance on that. Like, I don't know why we thought, third round QB was going to be the way to go. I don't know. I mean, I know he played well in Cincinnati and was playing in the pro offense and all that stuff, but never really had the arm for it.
I go back to the thing. I think everybody just got way too overhyped over the fact that he beat Alabama in college. I think that happening to him just put him on this insane stellar trajectory that people expected him to be better than he was because Alabama didn't go on to win the Natty that year, though. That was a UGA win year, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, like, you beat Alabama because he was was he in Cincinnati or North Carolina?
No, he was at Cincinnati.
Okay,
Bearcats.
But still, like you do that and you beat Alabama, of course it's going to be shit to talk because then we get towards the draft and everyone's like, oh yeah, well he beat Alabama in college. Yeah,
well yeah, there was a whole lot of talk about and he was also there for he was there for all 4 years.
Yeah,
so.
But just because you beat Alabama in college doesn't mean you can beat the Jets in the NFL, motherfucker. It's a big goddamn difference. It's a huge fucking difference, dog.
Yes. I love those conversations where and you've seen some of these great Alabama teams or great Georgia teams or whatever, and they'll be like, I think Alabama could beat the Tennessee Titans. I'm like, I bet you they couldn't.
Not a chance.
I bet you they could not. Yeah.
Because the thing is, you're going against grown ass men. You're going against 35-year-olds who are 300 and something pounds, who are paying for their house note, who are supporting their family, who are playing for their livelihood, who don't have NIL deals, who also don't give a fuck if they hurt you either. Like, no, dude. No,
No,
and on
they
top
do
of
not.
that, your entire little 4-year college career, they've been playing 3 times as long as that. Like, no, they're going to
Right.
destroy
You
you.
got guys that have been in
They're
the
going
league
to
for a
destroy you.
decade.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
going to murder you, dude.
Yes. No, there would be no chance. And that's why when you see some of these rookies come in, it's like you rarely see a rookie come in and just like light it up. You know
Trevor
what I mean?
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence did not light it up when he came in the league.
I was
No.
joking.
I was about to say, yeah. Like Trevor Lawrence is finally starting to look like a
I
fucking
was
NFL
joking
quarterback.
because I am an adamant Clemson hater as a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket.
Yeah. There you go. But yeah, man, I think that
speaking of Yellow
Falcons,
Jackets, real quick, number two college baseball team in college right now. Number two.
Fuck yeah.
Second to LSU.
Let's go, baby.
Number 1 in the ACC.
Was going to say that like the Falcons, because they restructured Kirk and they are going to cut him, they're hinting at some kind of decision coming up soon with Darnell Mooney. I think you cut him too.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could cut like Clark Phillips. Like we didn't really use him much, but that'll save us some money. And then you look at like, do you want to upgrade your cornerback position? Your other corner, Mike Hughes. I think Mike Hughes, you could probably see if you can get him for kind of cheap, but you're still talking about somewhere between 38 to 45 million to play with in the offseason.
But let's also talk about the guys we absolutely have to keep and restructure. Like Jesse Bates, I feel like is an absolute have to keep.
I like to keep Jesse Bates. Yeah,
Terrell, I feel like we got to keep Terrell.
Terrell's, he's staying on.
And
he's staying
Alfred, we got to keep Alfred.
Yeah. D. Alfred. But what about Tyler Algier? I mean, do we try and re-sign him? He's got to know he's going to be a backup.
Right here. You're breaking my heart right here. And
I'd like to keep him.
Okay. Check this out. I would love to keep Tyler Algier, but I feel like, and this is me being empathetic and having a bleeding heart. I feel like Tyler Algier deserves to be a starter and deserves more than he's going to be able to. He deserves more than being Bijan's backup because I feel like he's better than a backup running back.
Yeah, but I guess it just depends on like what team's going to offer him a starting role and the money that he wants, and is it a team he wants to play on? You know what I mean? Like, say he ends up with like the Jets, and it's like, okay, yeah, I get to be a starter,
great running back. Actually.
Yeah, they're like, I get to start, but like, I'm not on a good team. I'm not like with good folks. I think him being in Atlanta already, like, I know he'd like to stay here.
But when you think about this, cutting Algier, saving that money and getting a second round running back might not be the worst idea.
No. Right. So you could go into the draft and get somebody, in the later parts of the draft.
Because some of the best running backs of all time have been second and third round draft picks. Don't always most running backs don't go in the first round. So you don't have to spend your first round on a running back. Sometimes you get lucky and sometimes they know like, hey, I need that guy on my fucking team now. But historically, some of the best running backs have been second, third, fourth round picks. They have been.
Yeah, but also, I was kind of thinking in that second round, you go best wide receiver available.
Okay, but also I was thinking with some of the money cleared up, if you don't have to spend that all on a quarterback, you can also look at the free agents that are at wide receiver right now. And I'm about to mention a name that we cannot afford and we should not target, but Mike Evans is about to be a free agent, from Tampa Bay.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Dude, that would be the craziest thing in the world.
That'd be crazy.
We cannot afford him and we should not target him at all.
And it could be his worst season ever, like at his age.
You got to look around like there, as much as there's, stopgap quarterbacks in free agency, there's also going to be some wide receivers that are actually worth a fucking free agency,
Yeah. I mean, we had a great year with Devin Hester towards the end of his career,
Absolutely.
And then you get guys like that. I say you're going to have to get a wide receiver.
But even when it comes to free agent, running backs, I mean, remember Cordero Patterson? Holy shit. What a legend
for us.
What a legend for the Dirty Birds,
Yeah.
And we got him in free agency.
Great return man, too. One of the best.
One of the best. Absolutely one of the best. Dude, I remember when you and I went to that Tampa Bay game, we were standing in line for beer, and all of a sudden the crowd went apeshit, went fucking bananas. And we're like, what happened? It was like, Patterson just returned it for a fucking touchdown. I was like, oh shit, of course. We're in line for a Miller Lite.
Yeah, we're waiting for fucking Miller Lights. Yep. Hey, what are you going to do, man? At least we were there.
At least
we still, hey.
We watched the replay.
We did. Yeah. Now he was great. So there's guys you can go out there. I don't know, like as far as running backs, like for your backup, I'd have to see. Who was that running back we had that was at Carolina, who's from Atlanta, Mike something, a couple years ago? It was fucking terrible here.
Oh, dude, I could not remember.
God damn it. Anyways, he was from here, and everyone's excited, and he's like, "Yeah, he's an Atlanta guy." Um, I don't know. He had a terrible season, and then we had Todd Gurley. That didn't work out.
Well, Todd Gurley didn't work out just because he doesn't have any knees anymore.
No, but like, why did we do that?
No, we should have never spent the money on that. I agree with you.
Yeah. Let's see. When was that? 2023.
I just miss the days when we had like just dynamic guys like fucking Michael Turner and fucking Jamal Anderson and shit. It'll never happen.
Bijan
again.
Robinson.
Yeah,
Mike Davis. Mike Davis is what I'm talking about. Yeah. He was the starter. He only had 503 rushing yards that year, and then Cordell Patterson took over. Because Cordell Patterson was just going to be like our return specialist and then also in on certain plays, kind of as a backup running back. And Mike Davis was just so shitty.
Cordell Patterson was one of the best like catching running backs we ever had.
Oh, he was a beast. He was a beast. Yeah. Well, I remember when Arthur Smith
I was really upset when we let him go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's like, and then Arthur Smith kind of like, he came up with this thing where he's like, well, he's not going to be one of our running backs per se. So he came up with a new position on the depth chart, the Joker.
Oh,
no, it was the Joker. It's because it's like, you don't know how we're going to use him. He might be a receiver. I mean, he had that long catch and run down the sideline in New Orleans against the Saints. Matt Ryan hit him down there. I think Matt Ryan's last year. That was fucking amazing, for a touchdown. Won us that game. Cordero was the man. He was definitely the man. My mom, she loves her black running backs, dude. But she's got her Cordero Patterson jersey, man. She'll still wear it. But look,
we were historically spoiled with good running backs, though. I mean, you think all the way back to Jamal Anderson, Michael Turner, Devontae Freeman, Warwick Dunn, like
Tevin
Atlanta's
Coleman
always had. Tevin Coleman was okay. When it comes to catching, like Cordero Patterson and Tevin Coleman, the best catching backs we ever had.
They're badass,
Tevin Coleman could have played receiver. Like he was fucking good at catching awesome. The goddamn ball.
But he was also a bowling ball once he's got it in his hand.
Absolutely. But like
Tyler Algier has not fumbled in the NFL.
Wow.
I mean that right there.
You know who else has not fumbled in the NFL, and it's a weird stat because he has had things knocked out of his hands that have been reversed, but Kyle Pitts has 0 fumbles.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And the call just got reversed or something?
Yeah, because I listened to it on 92.9 The Game this morning, and they talked
they
about
would never
how
lie.
Well, yeah. But no, they talked about how like a lot of, and then one of the guys started arguing with him. He's like, no, that got reversed or that's happened. Like Kyle Pitts has 0 fumbles somehow.
That's crazy. But outside of that, it's like, so you got your tight end. I think we still need to get another one. Probably cut Charlie Warner and go get you another, because I know Stefanski wants to run some of these 2 tight end sets, and that'll be nice. Get someone who's not exactly like Kyle Pitts, and not that there really is a tight end that's exactly like Kyle Pitts. But get you a traditional tight end that can actually catch.
You got to go back to the fucking Hooper and Toilolo days, like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or go get you a guy like Hooper, who can catch, but also big enough to block, and has the footwork and the fundamentals to kind of work with the offensive line.
I just need tight ends that play tight ends. Like I don't need the tight end to be the fucking billboard guy on my team. I want the tight end to be the guy, like when the tight end makes a good play or a good catch that fucking goes for yards, you're like, holy shit, yeah. And then he goes back to play in tight end, kind of like what Hayden Hurst would do. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
That's the guy I need, because listen, as much as he was probably the greatest tight end of all time, especially when it comes to Atlanta, you're not Tony Gonzalez. Stop trying to be him.
Yeah. Tony's a different breed, and Tony could do it all, and he was the man. But so you got your tight end. We definitely need receiver depth, because outside of Drake London, if you look at the numbers, man, it's like Drake London, amazing receiver, and then it goes way down to Darnell Mooney and David Sills, and I mean way down
to where it's to the point where they know you're going to Drake because the other guys can't catch the ball.
Well, yeah, and again, I wonder, like, was Michael Penix even throwing to them? Because he wasn't really throwing to Kyle Pitts.
Well, when Cousins was throwing to them, how did it go?
I mean, sometimes it was okay, but
Okay.
yeah, not with Mooney. Mooney's got to go, and I know he got the collarbone issue and all that stuff, and couldn't really stay healthy this year. But you gotta save some money by cutting him. So I say in the draft you're looking for wide receiver. David Onyemata is probably leaving. I don't think we can afford him.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have an amazing year, but he is a nice force to have up front as your D lineman. So look for that in the draft. Get you a D lineman or a D tackle, someone that can just kind of shore up that defensive line. There's a lot of studs still that are going to be here from the last two draft classes, which is great. See if you need a little more corner depth, depending on what happens with Mike Hughes. And outside of that, man, and then you got to find your backup running back, and then maybe start shaping this offensive line to being like what Bill Callahan wants it to be.
Mm-hmm. And we say
I don't even think that we have that many picks of what I just said.
We say that hypothetically, you got to start looking for your backup running back because nothing has happened with Tyler Algier yet. Like he's still very much on the team.
Well, he's going to be a free agent.
But yeah, you're right. Never mind.
You got to figure that out. Yeah, got to figure that out.
Right. Never mind. Oh fuck! I completely forgot he is going to be a free agent. I don't see them re-signing him.
I mean, I don't really either. I'd like to. I mean, I think that he should be a free agent target.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't tag two players.
Because that's why earlier in the conversation I said cut him. I completely forgot he is going to be a free agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's gonna be able to go around the league, and that's what I'm saying. Like, is he gonna find a team that's gonna give him starter?
Now you just gave me a moment of clarity that also gave me a moment of anxiety because we got to figure out the wide receiver room, we got to figure out the quarterback, we got to figure out the RB2, we got to plug some holes on the line, we got to plug some holes on defense. We got a lot of work ahead of us, Jeremy.
We do. I think we're gonna be fine though because of Kirk Cousins
going to
thing.
feel? But also, who's going to feel the shoes of James Pierce? We still don't know what's happening there. He's obviously not going to be a Falcon anymore.
Yeah, it's starting to feel that way. Yeah,
and I mean,
Ian Cunningham would not comment on that today. By the way,
but who the fuck else are you going to bring in here? Who's going to get you 10.5 sacks?
Well, I think you're kind of put in this position where you gotta offer Leonard Floyd another year.
Leonard Floyd ain't going to give you 10.5 sacks.
He's not. But like, what do you do? Someone's got to be there. We got to have the depth there.
When it comes to drafting, do you go after a defensive end? But normally, like I wouldn't draft a second round defensive end.
I was about to say, like, premier pass rushers are going to be gone.
Yeah,
and we need a receiver. We need a receiver going forward. So I think a second round wide receiver could be good.
Yeah, because much what I said about running backs, rings true for wide receivers. There's been a lot of fucking second round receivers who aren't scrubs.
Yeah. And you just need a guy to be out there with Drake London. You've already got Drake London.
A lot of people look at the draft and they think the first round is the end all be all. It's not.
It is not.
It's not.
Look at some of these guys, man. Look at Xavier Watts.
If you're in the draft as a player, I would say once it gets to like the 20th round, then they're looking at you as a scrub.
Well, look, listen. So think about like Tyler Algier. He wasn't in the first round, second round. I think he was like a third rounder, maybe even later. Xavier Watts, I think, was a third rounder. We got plenty of guys. Brandon Dorless, Billy Bowman, like so many stellar guys that have come out through the draft. Like the draft is where you build the meat of your team.
Right.
And it ain't all about like the big stars that, that you're seeing on all the highlight plays, man. It's like, I mean, you're going to see highlight plays from a lot of these dudes. But this is where you really make it happen. So, and Ian Cunningham did say today, this is the last year that we're not going to have a first round pick. He ain't trading that fucking pick for nothing. He wants to draft.
Which means, which goes back to what I was saying, Falcons fans, is you might see some bleeding out, but just know that like, this is going to be a long haul year. This is like, what
I don't feel like it's a full on rebuilding because you can't waste these years out of Bijan Robinson.
No, brother. I'm not saying it's a rebuild. I mean? I'm just saying that like this next year might be a little rough around the edges. Is all I'm saying. I'm not calling it a rebuild because I feel like the rebuild has already happened. I feel like we've put all the right pieces in motion, but now there are some very obvious gaps we have to fill, some very obvious things we have to do on offense and. Defense, I'm not even nearly as worried about as far as wide receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs. And in all honesty, we preach on here all the time that defense wins you game. If we get a good enough, a good enough stopgap quarterback, we get a good enough receiver in either the draft or free agency, and we figure out what we're doing as RB2. And in all honesty, you keep Jean healthy enough, all you need is a 3 yards in a cloud of dust running back to, So I'm not saying the rebuild is over. Everything's in motion. I'm just saying this next year might be a little rough around the edges. I'm saying don't set your hopes too high, but also be excited because everything's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think we are going to see a better season than last year. I think it's going to be less frustrating just because I think we have a more competent coaching staff. I think that's going to go a long fucking way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
1,000%.
And then Ian Cunningham just needs to, play the draft the way that he wants to do it. Like, we hired him because he was, well sought out after, or at least well respected around the league. First time GM. I think he wants to show us what he can do. And it doesn't sound like he's going to do some of the crazy shit that Terry Fontenot did.
I would hope not.
Like drafting the tight end that high, or trading away your first round pick
but at
for
the
this
same
year.
Time, this does give me
going
hope.
all in.
It does give me hope because, I feel like, especially with the franchise tag and everything else, I feel like this is Kyle Pitts' year to either put up or shut up. Either go find another team and show us that Atlanta fans were wrong about you and this is who you are, or fucking show out on Atlanta. And but it does ultimately fall back to. It falls back to the quarterback. It does.
Exactly. I got to know. I don't think anyone is confident.
Do you think he can show out with Michael Penix? Do you think he can play up to his ability with Michael Penix?
Not with Michael Penix from last year.
But
not if he's doing what he was doing last year. But if Michael Penix can come back and Stefanski can say, I don't want to hear this bullshit. He can't play under center. He's playing under center.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear this bullshit. He can't throw over the middle. He's throwing over the middle because he can throw over the middle. He can throw all over the field. He's got a fucking rocket launcher.
And he's also done.
But it's just it's almost like he was choosing not to.
Yeah, and he's done it successfully. And that was always weird to me when, especially, we talk about that press conference that Raheem had when he said he was playing to the quarterback's ability or whatever. I'm paraphrasing here; those weren't his exact words.
You do what your QB can do.
He basically said, without saying, that Michael Penix wasn't capable of throwing over to center. He
and Zach Robinson said that as well.
Yeah, he threw his quarterback under the bus. So I don't know. I feel like Penix is a problem that we're not going to be able to solve this season.
I'm not super confident that we will, especially just that he's going to miss the offseason.
Yeah.
We don't get to see that growth and get to see him work with the staff. I mean, they'll be working with him, but he can't go full throttle for a long time.
No, not for a while. Not for a while. And that's why, you get a stop big at. But, we're talking in circles here and we still haven't touched on the Hawks yet.
Let's move on.
Right now, the Hawks are, as we're speaking on Tuesday night, the Hawks are playing. Wouldn't you know, they're playing the Washington Wizards, Trae Young's new destination. However, Trae Young is not playing tonight, still suffering from an injury or whatever. And it's getting to the point where I think Trae is healthy enough to play right now. There's something about me that thinks he's just choosing not to play at this point.
I don't think that he's choosing not to play. I mean, remember, they've got that they traded their first round pick, the Wizards did, and it's top 4 protected. So if they're bad enough and they end up in the top 4, they get to keep that pick. So they get Trae and they go, listen, man, don't play this year.
Not choosing. He's
Anthony Davis, don't play this year.
Being
I kind of feel that
not
way.
to play. Okay.
They're tanking.
Choosing was a different phrase. Hey, they're not going to be able to tank if Adam Silver has his way.
Yeah, well, that won't be in effect this year. They're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, and speaking of them, the Hawks just played the Nets the other night, and the Nets are tanking like hell. And it's kind of funny because they're not sitting their players like Washington is. They're basically just letting their players go out there and just shoot whatever they want.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, hey, if you want to tank against the Hawks, by all means, come tank against us, dude. I love it. We might actually become a 500 team because we've been within inches of being 500 and then drop, and then we're almost at 500 and then we drop, and then it's like, oh wait, we're 500. We're 500 for a day, and then we're not 500.
Right. Yeah, and let's see. So we're 2 games under 500 right now. We got the Wizards again on Thursday.
So that's a win.
This is your chance.
Go ahead and check that off as a win.
Yeah, because we won by 21 tonight.
Yeah,
and,
well, dude,
we were up by 30 at one point.
That's what I was saying when you and I were pre-gaming this podcast. You were like, "Oh, dude, the Hawks are winning by 40 fucking points right now."
Yeah, it was getting ugly. And the Hawks going into this game against the Wizards were fully healthy. Kuminga made his debut tonight, and from what I got to see in that first half, looked awesome. Unfortunately, Jalen Johnson gets hurt during the game, right
Yeah,
hip flexor. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but I mean, he went straight to the
I mean,
tunnel.
bro, he's just
Maybe they're just
tanking,
being,
bro. Don't worry about it.
yeah, right. Maybe they were just being cautious for him. But like, he went straight into the tunnel, and they ruled him out quickly.
But is that
So
something that is something you can kind of do though? Because I mean, in all sports, like if you're playing a team that's obviously tanking and you have something that tweaks or something that kind of hurts, you can be like,
yeah,
all right, dude, take the
shut it
night
down
off.
for the
I think
night.
we got
Yeah,
this. We got
yeah.
this. You know.
I'm kind of feeling that's what it was, and I wasn't really expecting Kuminga and Jalen Johnson to play tonight together. Really, Kuminga was coming off the bench. I don't know if he ends up being a starter. We'll see. They did recently move Risa to the bench, which I think was a good move, just to kind of put him in a different situation because he's kind of plateauing a little bit with what he can do, and
Yeah.
been a little disappointing. I do think the kid's still got talent. I don't think he's ever going to be fucking Anthony Edwards or anything. But moving him to the bench, and then they brought C.J. McCollum into the starting lineup. It's been pretty good. I mean, they did get their ass kicked a couple nights ago, but they've been doing this thing where it's win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. It's like we got 20 games left. You got to start stacking wins, and the back half of the season for us looks pretty easy as far as like strength of schedule across like all of the NBA. Like I think we have one of the easiest schedules to end it out with. I'm actually about to look at some of our schedule here. But this is the time. You got to do it now. In the standings right now, we're sitting at number 9. It's a play-in spot. And we're 4 games out of being at number 6. So number 6 is where you really want to go.
Right.
You want to be in, not have to do the play-in tournament. But the play-in tournament is better than nothing. Like at least you can get some kind of playoff berth and you have a chance at getting in. But that means you end up playing Detroit or Boston when you get in, which you don't really want to do. Although Boston whooped our ass one time. We whooped their ass one time. Detroit, we've played really well against them. But they're fucking hot, man. Yeah, they're 42-14 right now. That's pretty damn good.
42-14.
Yeah.
Whew.
No, they're looking good. So looking at some of the remaining schedule here. So we got the Wizards next. Then we got Magic, Mavericks, Rockets. The Rockets are kind of, I mean, not as impressive as I thought they were going to be. Warriors still pretty good. Grizzlies bad. Pistons
Very
again.
bad.
Celtics again. Kings. And then Magic,
How
Nets.
are the Kings? Because in all honesty,
Ass.
that's what I was going to say. In my entire life, I don't remember the Kings ever being good aside from the Mike Bibby years where they
Right.
kind of had
Jason Williams was
Jason
there.
Williams and
He was the
Vlad.
shit.
How do you fucking say it? Vlad Vlakic or whatever?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking weird European guy who was a beast, who was
Right,
all
right,
over the
right.
place in the 90s
Yeah.
when we were kids. But like
Chris Webber?
Chris Webber, and that's what I'm saying. They had some stars. They
Mhm.
had Webber, they had Bibby, they had Jason Williams, they had
Yeah.
White Chocolate Man, the
Mhm.
fucking, best
He's-
white
he's
boy to
one
ever
of the-
play.
He really is, man. He was
Best
him
white
and
boy
Pete
to ever
Maravich,
play.
man. Him and
Yeah.
Pete Maravich. Yeah.
Him and Pistol Pete.
Yep.
I mean, do we put Tyler Hero in the conversation?
No, not with those guys. Hell
Nah.
no. Hell no.
Nah. I mean, but nah, I'm just saying, like, I don't remember ever being like, man, I want to go buy a fucking Kings jersey. I would buy a Hornets jersey before a fucking Kings jersey.
Well, because the Hornets jerseys back in the day looked cool.
Dude, when I was a kid, I had a fucking Muggsy Bogues jersey, and I literally bought it because I was a short guy. Still am a short guy, but
Still are. Yeah.
Anyways, it's just like I don't remember the Kings ever being a team to like worry about, like ever.
No.
Ever.
No, not that I can think of. Like I said, Jason Williams was great, but like he didn't win in a ring, but it's because he went to Miami.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
He was on that 08 Dwayne Wade and Shaq team.
But how many times have we seen teams have incredible players and just not knowing how to build a team around them? I mean, it's an endless story. It's a never-ending story in the NBA.
Right. Yeah, look at the Pelicans. They've had Zion his whole career, and it's been fucking nothing.
Dude, people forget that the Charlotte Hornets drafted Kobe Bryant.
They drafted Kobe Bryant. That's right.
I mean,
Yeah, the Hornets never really seen anything out of them.
I mean, if the Orlando
Timberwolves
Magic
had KG
if the Orlando Magic couldn't win a ring with Penny Hardaway and fucking
and
Shaquille
Shaq.
O'Neal, like,
Oh,
dude,
they got close
what the
though.
fuck? They got close, but
yeah,
dude, everybody knows. If you listen to Monica in the '90s, she let everybody know that almost doesn't count. So
that's true.
That's my mantra.
I have heard that. Yeah, I mean, and shit, same can be said about Atlanta though. We had Trey, we had Dominique. You know,
I think Atlanta's not the only team to never make the finals, though, right? Like,
no, so
right?
I mean, technically, we've won a championship when we were in St. Louis. Yeah,
yes, in St. Louis.
But no, we're not the only one that hasn't made the finals. Let's find out real quick.
Like, we've made the playoffs several fucking times, but I don't think we've ever made we've never made the finals. We've never been in the finals.
No. Let's see.
Came close.
We came very close. All right, never made the finals. Okay, but this is also it's counting.
But they're giving you all the ABA teams.
I was about to say
shit.
Since the merger is what I should put in there.
Merger, because I don't give a fuck about the Washington Bullets or anything like that,
right?
Or the Buffalo Braves
or the St. Louis Hawks. Yeah, they're still not they're not putting the Hawks in this. But look, I got the LA Clippers, Charlotte Hornets, Memphis Grizzlies.
The Clippers Minnesota, have never been in the finals?
Wow.
Minnesota
Timberwolves and New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay.
But right. You know, who else is missing here though? Because
but the problem is that's a very short list, and I don't feel like that's all of it. Because the Kings have been in the finals.
Yeah. Wait, the fuck?
Do the Kings have a championship and we're just fucking being dicks on here?
Let's see, man. We might be. I don't think we are. Okay. They have won a championship.
In 1951 as the Rochester Royals.
And see, that's why this list is just not accurate.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Fuck you, Google. Fuck the internet. I would ask ChatGPT, but I want to save the clean water for rural Georgia areas.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, dude, we don't want to waste all that water asking ChatGPT about the fucking Kings who suck.
Dude, I know people, like I have coworkers who will not use Google. They only use ChatGPT. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, just stop.
Yeah, I know, dude. I see it constantly.
First of all, why don't you just ask around? Like, I'm literally, like, I work with people. God, I feel so old. But I work with people who I'm literally like 12 to 15 years older than. And it's like, if you want to like ask, if you need to go, just ask me. Because more than likely, I'm old enough to give you the fucking answer. Like, who was the president?
Together.
Who was the president in 1996? Like, don't ChatGPT that. Just ask me. I'll fucking tell you.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. That's so stupid. Yeah, like my sister is always like, "Oh, I asked ChatGPT this, and they say that's, widely, disagreed with." I'm like, "Yeah, but what do you say?"
Yeah.
You're asking ChatGPT what your opinion should be?
And on top of that, just open your phone, go to Google, hit turn AI off, and ask it what you were going to ask ChatGPT. It will give you the exact same answer. Because what ChatGPT is going to do is pull answers from...
It's going to Google it for you.
It's going to pull answers from where? From Google.
Right. Yeah.
So
let me Google that for you.
I'm going to ChatGPT how good this restaurant is. Why don't you just fucking go there? Why don't you just go eat? You know?
Yeah, or ask your friend who's been there before.
But anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, we were talking about the Hawks never making the finals. And hopefully it'll happen within the next couple of years. But
yeah, I'm not expecting too much to happen this year. But, it'd be awesome to get in. Like, let's see if they can get hot. You got to remember, we got 6 new players. This season has just been completely different than what anyone thought it was going to be, from what we started with to what we have now, as far as just personnel. Hopefully nothing serious happening with Jalen Johnson and, God willing, everybody stay healthy. It's like Kuminga looks like, he got his first like fast break, like big ass, like throw it down dunk one-handed tonight. And the smile on his face was like, all right,
gotta feel good, dude.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell you,
because in Golden State, like Steve Kerr was just sitting him. And it's like there was all kinds of like bullshit they were saying about him. Like, for some reason, this made it into an article, and I don't know like who ratted on him, but like some of his friends and family were taking too much of the free food. like
Oh
before games
yeah,
and
I
shit.
remember that whole thing.
Like
That's fucking
what?
bullshit. Like on top of that, what are they supposed to fucking do? Like if I'm a,
Who gives a fuck?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna come and I'm gonna bring my fucking family, and if there's catering there, they're gonna eat all the fuck they want, and you better shut the fuck
Yeah,
up
and you
about
tell
it,
your
dude.
family, they're like, hey, is it cool if I eat this? Dude, eat whatever you want.
Yes, that's what I would tell my
It's
family.
catering. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's fucking catering, dude. They have refills. They got more
Yeah.
food. It's fucking catering.
Yeah,
They're
what
paid,
NBA franchise is worried about, who's fucking eating too many biscuits at the fucking
dude.
catering, bro?
Probably the Sacramento Kings.
Well, this was the Golden State Warriors, but yes, probably the Sacramento Kings. Not to just pick on the Sacramento Kings, but
Yeah, I mean, fuck them, dude.
yeah, fuck them.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with this team, like we've got some talent on there. Got to learn how to play together still. Let's see if we can get hot. I'm wanting to see how Zachary Risache can kind of like finish out this season. See if we're going to see him kind of get back to some of the flashes we were seeing out of him. Again, I do not expect him to be a star player, but I do expect him to be a good player.
But dude, back to dunking a basketball. You and I are both guys who are very sub 6 foot tall.
Yes,
and we do not have the athletic capability of Spud Webb. What would you give to be able to feel the sensation and gratification of dunking on a 10-foot regulation NBA basketball?
Oh, it'd be fucking amazing, dude.
Dude, I would give at least one of my testicles to be able to slam dunk. Like if I could regularly slam dunk, I would be a one ball guy for the rest of my fucking life. I don't give a fuck.
Uniballing.
Dude,
that's what they call me on the fucking pickup court.
Especially if I could just be 5'5" and just fucking go out there and dunk. Dude, I would be fucking scamming everybody back in Lee Street Park in Clayton County. I would be running up to them and be like, yo, $100 says I can fucking dunk on your ass. And I would just do it left and right,
Fuck
dude.
Yeah.
White Men Can't Jump would be about me, dude.
Yeah, man. No, I would fucking love that. But now I just, I do the white guy threes. Dribble between the legs a little bit, dude. Pass the ball, get it back. Maybe I can shoot it.
Dude, what's great is like us short guys, if we get some arch, we can be the 3-point threat. We can be. We got to put some we got to put some stank on that thing. And we can't have anybody stand in front of us.
Yeah, right. Nah, man. It's like I used
to
go
open, dude.
I used to play pickup ball all the time. Like in my 20s, me and my roommate would go, and he was good. He was a pretty good player. Like he grew up going to like basketball camp and everything. And we would always go shoot around, but inevitably, two guys will show up and be like, "Hey, y'all want to play 21?"
Not really.
Yeah, not really, man. But yeah, we would. But he was much taller than me. He was over 6 foot, so it was just like, I just throw it in there with him. I'll take the ball, to the other side of the court, and turn the court over, and then just kind of don't lose it and just get him down low, and we could win a lot of times, not every time. But also, I was pretty decent on defense. There was a guy like similar in my size. Like, I'll get him to dribble with their left hand. Like, how good are you at dribbling with both hands?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I can get it from him.
That's my only redeeming quality is I'm a beast at defense because I will play up in your grill, but I'm also very, very, very good at assists. I pass the ball like a motherfucker. I'm very good at passing.
I'll pass the ball.
Very good at passing because I know that's my role. I know that's what I'm out there to do. I'm out there to help you get shots. I'm not making these fucking shots. I can't make. If the lane is wide open, I can make a layup all fucking day. I don't think I've ever missed a layup in my life. But the thing is,
but nothing worse than some guys behind you don't know it and he just fucking packs the shit out of that.
But that's the thing is a lane is not going to be open for me. It's just not. Right.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's embarrassing. But yeah, to be honest, man, it's like whenever I'm at the court, and I haven't been up there much in the last couple of years, but like when kids would come up and they want to play fucking 21, it's like I'm over 30. I'm like, bro, I ain't playing defense on your ass.
No.
Inevitably, I will for a minute, but like my conditioning is not fucking good.
Yeah.
And those guys can run circles around you. And like me trying to keep up with them, all of a sudden it's like my legs are like fucking spaghetti noodles on the way home. Like just trying to play defense on like 5 possessions.
Yeah,
it's not good,
dude. So I had a question I wanted to ask you. I was thinking about it on the drive home from work today, and I was like, if you weren't like, say you lived in a state that didn't have a NFL team representative of them, would you kind of be just a fan of the NFL? Like, would you watch the football for the love of the game, or would you try to become partial to one team? Because I kind of equated it to like professional wrestling. Like when I look at professional wrestling, I don't cheer for people who are from certain regions or who do certain
Yeah,
things.
you pick
I
who you
cheer
like. Yeah.
You pick who you like, but also within professional wrestling, like there's top faces, there's top heels, there's champions, there's people that like as a conglomerate group of people they all cheer for. So it's like if I was from a region that didn't have a team, would I just cheer for the best NFL team? Or, like how do you think you'd go about it?
Well, I think with my personality, I would find one. I'd pick one and I'd stick with it no matter what.
Yeah,
Like I know people from like Mississippi that are Saints fans because geographically it's the closest.
right.
You know what I mean? Or if they're from Alabama, they're a Saints fan, or maybe they're a Falcons fan. Um, but honestly, I've been in this situation. If you take the geography out of it, one of my best friends is a big soccer Premier League fan,
Hmm.
and he was trying to get me into it, and I was like, "Well, I don't have a team," and he's like, "Well, pick a team,
Pick one. Yeah.
yeah." I would always watch Manchester United with him, and we would go to bars together at like 9 a.m. on a Saturday to watch the game or a Sunday. And so I was like, all right, well, Manchester United, they're basically like the Yankees over there. Like they've won the
They
most
are.
championships over
They're
time.
very good.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I'll be a Man U fan. But that's right when Sir Alex Ferguson, their legendary coach, retired. And they have not really won much since then at all.
No.
So it's like that didn't really work out for me. But I imagine if you were a guy moving here from Europe and you're going to start watching baseball, or let's say you don't move here, you just live in Europe and you're watching baseball, like you're going to watch the Yankees? Are you going to watch the Chiefs?
I mean, more than
You know what
likely,
I mean?
because
Like
what you're going to be
you
able
want
to
to have
have
fun.
what you're going to be able to have the most access to is those teams. Because even when the Yankees are a piss poor team, which they have been before, they're still the most
Yeah.
popular team in baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I mean, or well, I'm a Laker fan, and I live in fucking, Liverpool.
Okay, but this is what I have a problem with when you're from a city that has a professional sports team and you choose to not cheer for them. Because I know
Yes.
so many people from Atlanta, Georgia, that are 49ers fans, that are
Oh, God,
fucking
me too.
Lakers fans, that are
Mhm.
fucking Saints fans, of all teams to fucking cheer for. It's
Ugh.
like you have a team that plays 10 minutes away from your house. Why don't you just fucking cheer for them?
Yeah,
You know?
that's just dishonorable.
Oh,
to me.
because we've had disappointing seasons. Okay, boo fucking who? Get the fuck over it. So
It's part of the
what?
experience.
When the Saints start sucking like they have for the past 10 years, you're gonna stop cheering for them? Like, and then you're just gonna be a fair weather Falcons fans when they get their head out of their ass? Like, no, fuck you. This I just don't understand. I feel like it's a birthright thing. Like people ask me why I'm so passionate for Atlanta sports, why I cheer for blah 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 when they suck. Like, oh, you've been a Falcons fan your entire life and they suck. Blah blah blah. Like, okay, yeah, I know they suck, but I'm from Atlanta. Like, what am I supposed to do here?
And when they win, I'm gonna, I
It's
earned it.
And it's also because when they win, it feels that much better because they've sucked
Yes.
my entire life. You know?
And here's another thing that I want to bring up that I'm not sure we've ever talked about on here, but I know that you've heard this as a sports fan. This came up at the bar the other night, where this guy's saying like, I hate when people say like, we won, we did this, we did. It's like, you didn't do anything, you didn't play.
That bothers me. So
I'm like, well, you know what, motherfucker,
I hate that.
I do say we
Because
because
it's a community.
and then also when other fans are talking to you, they'll go like, you guys blew a Super Bowl. You guys can't, find Julio Jones in the end zone.
Yeah.
You guys can't do this. So when we do something good, I'm going to say we.
Yeah, because when the Atlanta Falcons lost the Super Bowl to the fucking New England Patriots, everybody I know came at me as if I was out there playing on the fucking team.
Exactly. Like now, I got to own it when they lose, but I don't get to celebrate when they win. Kiss my ass.
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
Kiss my ass.
But other than that, I mean, I do have a hot take that I did want to share with you.
Let's hear it.
But it's a personal life hot take. It is not a sports hot take.
Okay. It's the end of the show. Throw it out there.
I think when you reach a certain age in your life, you got to stop wearing T-shirts that say the word "fuck" on them. And I'm just saying, like, because this comes as I feel like I'm an alternative parent. I have piercings, I have tattoos, I love metal music. One of my favorite bands in the entire fucking world is Cannibal Corpse. Love them with my entire heart. But the thing is, I reached a point in my life where I have 3 kids. I can't just fucking wear Cannibal Corpse t-shirts anymore because I had a few and they freaked my kids out. And also like
Give it a couple years, you better wear them again.
but it also gets to the point in your life, Jeremy, where like when you're the kid, when you're the guy, and like you're not in a band like me. I'm not in a band. I don't make music. I don't do any of those creative outlets. I'm just a blue collar worker. Um, like when you show up certain places, like you show up to parent teacher conferences, you show up to kids field trips, you show up to their award ceremonies, or anything like that, and you're just wearing like a Cannibal Corpse shirt with a rotting corpse and stuff, like people don't take you seriously, you
That's
know.
true.
And that's my thing, like you start to look like a joke. So but other than that, I feel like you should express yourself, you should wear your band tees, but it just gets to a certain point where like I feel like specifically t-shirts with cuss words on them are just tacky to me. They are like
I've got one shirt, I think. Now I've got some, like gory or, explicit t-shirts, like death metal t-shirts and shit. But I do have one t-shirt that has the word fuck on it, and you're going to love it. I don't ever wear it in public, but I usually wear it like, around the house or like my workout shirt or something. It's stone cold, man. And it says fuck fear on the front. On the back, it says drink beer, stone cold.
Yeah.
Classic.
So, but the thing is, it doesn't actually say fuck. It's got a beer can.
It doesn't.
Where the
No,
U
it's got a
is.
skull. It's got a skull
Or a
where the U is. Yeah.
You see, the thing is, once I started having kids, I have a bunch of shirts folded up in my drawer right now that I can never wear. Okay, so I have a Brace War shirt. Brace War is a badass hardcore band.
Yeah.
And on their 2018 tour, they made this T-shirt which was a tribute to hookup skateboards. So it's literally got an anime chick on it pulling her underwear down, and it says Brace War under it. I have that shirt. I've worn that shirt one time because I can't wear it at home around my kids, and if I wear it in public anywhere, I look like a fucking fool, like I'm a 36-year-old man wearing a half naked anime chick on his
like
fucking
a weird incel guy.
I can't do it. I can't do it anywhere. So I feel like I'm gonna try to sell that shirt for like $100 or some shit like that, though.
There you go. You could always do that.
But I'm just saying, it gets to a certain point. You're like, now, granted, if you ain't got no kids and you live in the inner city and you can just fully indulge in that, cool. Wear all the fuck shirts you want
to a Cannibal Corpse.
But I'm just
show.
saying, there's a time and place. Like I've even gotten to the point where like I think this is just the old man in me, but like I've even like outgrown like unnatural hair colors. Like when I'm hiring somebody at my job and they show up and they've just got like blue hair and they're wearing a band T-shirt and stuff like that, I'm like, if I can't take you seriously, how's a customer going to take you seriously?
Joey, something my dad used to always tell me when I would go off on rants like this. He'd be like, "Man, you're gonna make a great old man."
I feel like I'm just starting to get old now. I'm just starting because so like my niece, she's 18 years old and she got snake bite piercings and she's getting her first tattoo and stuff like that. And I'm like, bitch, you don't even have a job. Like, can you worry about that before you fucking, like do all this stuff? And the thing is, I still have scars from my snake bites. I got my first tattoo the second I turned 18 years old. But now the old man in me is like, hey, like I can talk to you like this because I want you to not do the things I did when I was 18.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have no source of income right now. So why are you going to go ahead and mark up your body with tattoos, not knowing how you're going to afford your next one? Why don't you worry about, that first?
Yeah. Not bad advice, man. Not bad advice. I
got
all my tattoos by the time I was 21.
I mean, dude, I'm getting old and it fucking feels weird, man. That's all I gotta say.
I know, man. No, it's happening to me too, man. It's gonna happen to all of us.
Like hindsight, I would not have gotten my neck tattooed at fucking 18 years old if I had known what it was like, the opportunities it was going to keep me from down the road. Like I do understand we're in a newer generation now where tattoos are more acceptable and blah, blah. But at the same time, we grew up in a generation where they weren't. And I marked my body
you didn't give a fuck.
Young, So now all I'm asking is for the people younger than me, like just fucking take a breath. Just think about what you're doing.
Think it through.
Just think,
But I mean, like they say that like men, their brains aren't fully developed until they're at least 25. But it's
they're
like
fucking correct.
But we let 18-year-olds like go and they can do that shit. They can go make those decisions. So
they can join the army.
They can, yeah. In fact, they really want them to. Right out of high school. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. I would say the same thing to like a young guy that's just like, man, I want to get all this tattooed and this, and I want to get my neck and all that. And I'm like, slow down.
Yeah.
You know,
Because at the end of
figure
the
out what
day,
life is first.
yeah, at the end of the day, you really don't. You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like it really does stick with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, unless you're gonna be in the restaurant industry, or you're gonna work blue collar as a fucking welder, construction guy, or you're gonna be a rock star, don't get your neck tattooed, dude.
Right.
Just don't.
Get mine tomorrow.
Yeah,
right here.
I got mine.
Fuck.
I got mine, and I don't necessarily regret it because I have been fortunate enough to work in blue collar my entire life where they don't give a fuck. But that's just me. I'm just saying. It's a touch.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible to get a suit and tie gig. With that
It's
these days.
Not anymore.
But
it's weird.
If you're going up against a guy that's a little more clean cut, they might have the advantage on you.
Yeah. So just understand what you're getting yourself into. If you're gonna be all tattooed and shit up, be qualified.
There you go.
So other than that, we are ATOWN Rundown. I'm sorry about my old man tangent because it does seem very hypocritical coming from a guy like me. But I mean,
you're gonna be a great old man, Joey.
That's all I can say. You can find us on YouTube at ATOWN Rundown. You can listen to Sunmancer, which is Jeremy's band, on all streaming platforms. You can watch music videos of him on YouTube. You can see how short he is comparatively to all the rest of the band members he has.
Hey, those guys are tall, though. All right, let's give me some credit here. Those guys are really fucking tall.
Yeah. But other than that, man, just be safe. And there is something I did want to touch on, and I don't ever mean to, to bring down the energy in the room and be a Debbie Downer and talk about, all I'm saying is there's some real life shit that happened. As many of you know, a former Falcon player, Rondell Moore, passed away recently. It has come to light that he ended up taking his own life, which is very sad, very upsetting.
26 years old, yeah.
I think mental health, especially men's mental health, is something, especially athletes' mental health, is something that does not get touched on enough, is not talked about enough, and is not researched enough. Especially, it could have been symptoms of CTE. It could have been this, that, and it could have been so many other things. But at the end of the day, like, it's just a mental health crisis that we as a community, and especially us as men, have to do better at, have to make sure we're reaching out to our friends. We see the signs of these things. Just be a good friend, be a good person. And all I can say is my heart really goes out to his friends and family to have to deal with this. It's a very tragic situation. So if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, I hope that instead of making a decision that you cannot come back from, you just reach out to your friends.
Check on your homies.
Help. If you're feeling any type of way, or if you have any inclination that one of your friends might be feeling a type of way, just do something about it. You'll thank yourself for it. And I want to leave you with that. Life is very precious. Don't take it for granted. We love you guys, and we hope to see you next week.
Peace, everybody.